Books. Today I'm going to be doing a video on book reviews. What to leave in, what to leave out, and all the juicy gory bits in between. So hopefully we'll be able to craft a 5-star review for your favourite 5-star book. I've got 6 do's and 6 don'ts and some other bits in between. So grab a drink, sit back, relax, and let me start talking. Alright, see you in a jiffy. Thing. I had to get a top up, so thanks for waiting, like I said. Right, let's get started. You've read your 5-star book. You've moaned like a schoolgirl or cursed everything under the sun. And now you want to tell the author the good bits, the bad bits, shower them in praise or shower them in the other brown smelly stuff. But you're not quite sure how to start. My first tip really to that is state how you felt overall. Ask yourself a few questions like, did you get emotionally involved? Write about it. Did what happened to the main character affect you? Write about it. Basically, tell them. Tell them how you feel, because authors need that. We need that as readers. That's the only way books get better, and it's the only way your enjoyment will get better, is if the author knows what stank, what didn't stink. So that's my point one really. I will say don't get too personal with it, because that's your personal opinion, and we'll probably touch on that in the negative don'ts later on. But yeah, keep it brief, because a review can be as long or as short as you want, so elaborate, I guess. Actually ignore what I just said, elaborate as much or as little as you want. So that's point one really. Right, on to point two. Second point. Hopefully by now you as a reviewer have done an overall summary of the things you've liked, disliked, elaborated on bits you hate and whatever else. You've got your intro to your review sorted. And now, my fellow reviewers, writers and YouTube watchers, we're going to dig just a tiny bit deeper. We're going to talk, you're going to potentially write about things like the setting, the season. Why not mention the time period the book's set in? Did that help or hinder your read? Did you enjoy the details they put in about that time period or whatever? Also, if you want, and if you can, talk about the writer's ability. Was there grammar issues, spelling issues, formatting issues, glitches, whatever else? Add that, because that's a good learning tool for not only for the author, but it helps readers pick up on things to look out for in future. I've fallen short on a couple of books I thought, ooh, that looks great, and they spell worse than a kindergarten on a sugar rush. So be careful on that one. Right. But most importantly, write a review about anything else in the book that moved you. Use details, nuances, and other little Easter eggs, if you will, to show the author you've actually read the book. Talk about why these things came alive for you. Anything else really to elaborate on your summary, point one really, and point two. So yeah, that's my second point. On to point three. Welcome back to point three. Thanks for staying tuned this long. So far we've got the bulk of your review done. It's in the bag. Put your feet up. Why not get another drink? But we're digging here, people. It's a big hole, and we're going to keep digging until we hit Australia. So in this point three, we're going to focus in a tiny bit more and talk about favourite characters. You don't have to include this, but in my opinion, it just rounds it off quite nicely. So pick your favourite character. Be it a villain, the good guy, the damsel, or the milkman who delivered something in chapter 2. What did you like? What did you hate? Did you want to be them, hate them, fall in love with them, kick them in the shins? Talk about it. Again, it shows detail, rounds off the review to a nice, possibly finishing point if you very well wish. So that's my point three. I'm going to quickly pause the 6 points here. There's a little intermission and a few more details. So yeah, enjoy. Hello readers, fans and viewers. This is the news. The time is daytime, so if it's not daytime where you are, I hope you're cuddled up and tucked in nicely. Get to bed. I have two new books coming out soon. One with publisher Dragonfly Books. The other's going to be hopefully with Dragonfly Books soon, so stay tuned. I shall post on the website above and everywhere else I can think of to keep you all updated. The book covers will be at the bottom of the screen in a sec with a coming soon sticker, quite nicely made by little old me. So I had to relaunch the book on the left, Queen and the Viper, because it was struck by technical issues, to put it politely. But hopefully we'll have that out in the next few weeks, month tops. I will keep you posted about that as soon as I can. I also have a semi-autobiographical book, that is a big word, I know, about little old me to a fashion, coming out with, like I said, with the publisher soon. Again, I will let you know via smoke signals and wherever else about that too. What else? Let's see. Quick update. I mentioned on my website I am updating my science fiction novel. That is halfway done and should be out for January. So again, I'll let you know. What else is there? Let's think. Oh yes, there's some authors I need to tell you about. I've been working with 3 authors, helping them get started and get their debut books out. I will mention those in the second half of the book review video. But I guarantee they are authors to look out for. So yeah, right. Let's get back to these points, shall we? On to points 4. On to point 4. If you haven't already wrote your review up into a nice little pink bow, now in my opinion, and it's always my opinion, take it or leave it, but now I always find it nice to give a quick shout out to the author. After all, they spent many hours toiling away at the words, arguing with their muses and potentially their other halves, stressing over edits and all the other chaos that goes with producing a book for you, the reader. So yeah, give a quick shout out to the author. Would you read their work again? Mention it. Have you read any of their other work again? Mention that. Don't go into detail, obviously, about the other books, because the other readers out there may not have read books A, B and C, say, for example. Definitely talk about why the author is good at that genre. Are they good at, say, the endings or the character development or the surprise twists? Say whether you'll check out other books they recommend, because sometimes authors have, books we might think you might like or whatever else. Check those, mention those. So that's my next point, really. Point 4. Point 5. Right. This point harks back to that horrible little thing that our parents drummed into us. That little thing called manners. And basically being a decent human being. So my 5th point is be careful what you say. Comment on the book, yes, definitely. Not comment on the writer in a positive way. Like I said in the last point, shout outs are great. But do not, and I stress this enough, do not make it all about a personal slight on the author. Many authors are giving up over reviews that are basically being slander matches. So don't do that. It's horrible. We're human beings too. So yeah, don't discriminate the author. If you want to make a subtle point, just say, Send them, find their email address or whatever, and just drop them a subtle email and say, I love the story, but do it that way rather than making it a public thing. It's horrible, don't do it. You wouldn't want it done to you, so don't do it to them, really. But like I said, comment on the book, the story, the plot, the character, yes. The pros and cons of that story, yes. Do not attack the writer. Okay, that's my next point. On to the final point of the do's for book reviews. The point 6 is recommend the book. Always recommend the book. Doesn't have to be on the review itself, but it's a subtle thing, really. Just drop a line on a Facebook post, or tell a friend. Christ, tell anybody. If you enjoyed the book, talk about the book. It's that simple. Even a verbal review is better than no review at all. Make sure it's positive and constructive. Be yourself in the review, but don't take it too far. Be honest. That's the best way I can describe it, really. Make sure it's an honest review to reflect your enjoyment or dislike of the book. Again, don't attack the author. It's not nice. Tell the review or the person you're telling why, obviously, why you like the book. So that's my. I know it's only a small 0.6, but recommending the books, sharing the book links, like I've said in many other videos, it is the lifeblood of the independent author. We can't do it without you. We do it for you, so we at least appreciate the shout out or a share or whatever else. We do the same for you, and we often do the same for readers who become writers. We share everything and anything. So yeah, that is point 6. On to the don'ts next, so stay tuned. Welcome back. We've talking about the do's of them book reviews and what you should do, I hope, and what you will do in future. Now we're going to talk about the negative stuff. Enter somber face. I would say don't excessively criticise the author, or the book for that matter. If you've got to give it a 1, 2 or 3 star, keep it brief, short and sweet. Don't go into too much detail. And if you must contact the author, find a nice way of doing it. Just whisper in their ear or drop them a line. Don't put it on the public wall. Frankly, by putting it on the public wall, you're tainting future buys of that book and the author's livelihood, however small that may be. It's not nice. It's not cool. It's just sleazy. So if you've got to criticise, do it silently, subtly, not publicly. All right, on to point 2. My next tip, point 8, is slightly controversial, I'd say, and probably goes against what I've just said in the other points, but I think it needs stressing and mentioning. It's this: if the book actually offended you, and some books do, why do you think there are things called banned books out there? Tell them, write about it, give it a simple 1-star review and put it down. Don't go into details, don't go write the A, B, C and D of it all, just 1-star review. I didn't like this book because, and say, for example, it went against my religious principles. By doing this, you're fulfilling your duty as a reader and as a human being, really, to warn others that who might get offended that this book contains content of such. Saying that, I know authors like to push the boundaries, and there are liberties taken sometimes. I've taken more than my fair share, but authors do try to, most authors who are out there do try to temper that. So if it's a hard one, really, because some authors will obviously take it too far, and there are out there. There are good and bad authors, like there are good and bad people. But some authors are forced, say for example, to write about atrocities and things that are going to offend because it affects the story. For example, things like the Nazi Party and the Jews and all that. You can't really write about the atrocities in the camps without talking about the atrocities in the camps, or the religious views of the Jews, or whatever else, without affecting the story. So, for that point of view, you've got to give the author a bit of credit. But again, if it offended you drastically, give it a simple 1-star review and say why. And like I've said before, drop the author a subtle message and just explain it. Don't go into detail. Just say why and have an adult conversation with the author. That we value your opinion, like I'm always saying. So yeah, that is my next point. Before I go any further, the next chunk you're going to see is the what's up next for my next video. I'm going to be doing a top 10 of who I think are 10, not top 10 as in 10 who's the worst and who's the best, but top 10 authors and poets who I think the reading world should watch out for. I will be doing this as fair as I possibly can, and this again is my personal opinion based on what I've read, the reviews I've seen, and everything else. And again, it's not a personal slight on the author / poet. So yeah, that should be coming out next month, or well, next week hopefully, if the gods of real life allow it. Right, on to my next point. Points 9 and 10 I'm going to link together because they are related. And it's this. Don't plan vengeance and retaliation on your author. Don't slander them over social media. For Christ's sake, don't kidnap their cat. They like their cats. If you're sorry you bought the book, take it back, get a refund, exchange it, whatever. Amazon and all these other sites, they offer refunds. Even the Kindle market offers refunds. It might take a while for that refund to arrive, but you'll get your refund, for Christ's sake. Too many people get hurt and affected by slander and retaliation. At the end of the day, be it a good review, bad review, love it or hate it, that book was somebody's dream to write. They wanted to be a writer. They put the effort in. It's not nice. Yes, they might not have been very good at it, but again, keep it sweet, keep it professional. You take the personality out of it and just be mature enough about it. Don't write also negative comments about the writer. I know I stress it enough, but it affects people. Depression's up on the rise, and why fuel an already big monster really. I've suffered from it. I wrote a book called The Eye of the Fire about monkeys, and apparently I was racist, and that affected me in a big way. I took the book down, I gave refunds back. It hit me in a big way. It wasn't until I reread the book and got an independent eye to read the book that I realised it was just one person's opinion, but I was getting slandered right, left and bloody centre. So again, don't fuel that depression monster with negative thoughts. Keep it subtle, keep it small, and if you've got to speak to the author, keep it professional. Send them drop them a line. Right, there are idiots out there, I will admit, and for all the good reviewers out there, there are going to be 2 or 3 that are total toss monkeys. So again, to the authors out there who are reviewing this and reading this and watching this, take it on the chin. Don't take it personal. They are tossers. You are an author. You will get better. Your books will get better the more you do it. You can't win them all. And like that good old British bloke said once upon a time, it's not about how many battles you win, it's who wins the war in the end. And if you pay attention to your readers, work hard at your words, you will win that written war. Okay, this is me. Time to say goodbye then, I'm afraid. I've given you my points, my goods, my bads, my news and all the other bits. I hope you stay tuned to the next video. Click the like button or wherever it is. Subscribe and keep me posted on you. Drop me a line. I'll leave again my website above here. There's a contact me section if you want to contact me about the reviews I've left or books I've read or whatever. Do it. I look forward to hearing from you. Okay, this is me signing off.